Welcome back to My Moment. Once again, you rocking with your boy Stay Humble, and I want to thank you for tuning in. We've been talking about Jesus walking on the water, and the question is, will you get out of the boat? So we saw in the last episode how Peter, through his relationship with Jesus, through his experience with Jesus, is learning to trust him. So when they're out on the water and they see Jesus, or they see actually the silhouette of a man, but they see this man walking toward them, they're terrified, and Jesus says, yo, don't fear, it's me. And Peter says, yo, if it's you, Lord, command me to come to you on the water. And we said why it's important that he said, command me, but you'll have to look at the last episode to find that out. So we move on to verse 29, and here's what it says. As Jesus said, come. So Peter got out of the boat. So we talked about that relationship with the command, and Jesus says, on the water, tells Peter, come. So Peter, it says, got out of the boat. Now before we go on, I just want you to think about that for a minute. Peter, every other time in his entire life when he has got out of the boat, his foot has hit whatever is solid that's underneath, right? So he steps into the water and the foot goes down to the shore, or goes down to the sand, or goes down to the rock, but it goes down to something that is solid. Never once has he got out of the boat and his foot hit the water and stayed. Now, Jesus says, come. And Peter, I believe with this rush of faith, gets out of the boat, holding on to the side. He puts the first foot over, and it stays. He's like, yo, this is crazy. And then he reaches and he pulls that second leg up and over, puts it down, and his hand is still on the rail of the boat, and he's standing there, and he's like, yo, I'm on the water. Now, how would you feel? How would you feel in that situation, knowing that really it's not even possible what you're doing, but because Jesus said so and you see him doing it, now he said, come, and you can do it. And you're out on the water and you're holding on to the boat and you're like, yo, this is crazy, right? Because it continues on, it says, verse 29, he said, come. So Peter got out of the boat and walked on the water and came to Jesus. So here, Peter steps one foot over and the foot doesn't sink. Steps the other foot over and the foot doesn't sink. But he's still hanging on to that boat. And then he lets go and begins to walk to Jesus. And think about how you would feel and what would be going on in your mind. Peter is like, oh my gosh, yo, I'm walking on water. Like, crazy excited. I've never done this before. I've never seen it done before. And here I am because Jesus said, do it, I can do it. And he's walking away, and then he probably takes a look back and he sees that boat is kind of far back there. And then his mind gets to working, and he starts to think, oh my gosh, yo, I'm walking on water. And all of a sudden, this shift of excitement begins to turn into terror. And this fear wells up and grips him. And it's real interesting because when that excitement turns to fear, you read that next verse and see what happens. And I'm just going to read the first part because it says, but when he saw the wind, he was afraid. Now, so often in what God calls us to do, we will put that first foot out and we'll step and we'll test the water a little bit and kind of make sure it's cool. And then okay, it don't move. And then we bring that second foot out. Oh, okay, we're doing okay. Okay, we're out here. But we still got our hand on the comfort zone. We still got our hand on the comfort zone. And yo, that was me for years, man. My comfort zone was driving a truck. It was an easy job that allowed me to do and stay involved in all the ministry that I wanted to be involved in. It allowed me to be able to pay all my bills easy and about 2 days worth of work, 5 days worth of work done in 2. It allowed me to pay all my bills. It allowed me to invest into the ministry that I was doing, buying beats, buying studio time, paying for duplication of projects and things like that. And last December, God removed that comfort zone. He said, get out the boat. Get away from the comfort zone. And while I wanted to keep going back to it, he just took the boat away. Okay? And so often, man, we'll get out here and it's like, this is amazing. Look at what God is doing. Look at how he's moving. Look at the great impact that he's having in people's lives. This is amazing. I'm loving it. But the further we get away from that comfort zone, we start to think, wait a minute. I'm out here on the water. I don't see my boat is gone. Where's the safety at? And see, that's what happened with Peter. It says that he saw the wind and he began to fear. And I'm sure you've heard this acronym before. FEAR, false evidence appearing real. He sees the wind and he begins to fear. But that's the false evidence. That wind is the false evidence. The storm, the boat being way back there, that's all the false evidence, because the truth is right now he is walking on the water. That's the reality. And see, when God calls us to do something, though that fear may be there, the Bible tells us over and over again, don't fear. If he's calling us out onto the water, we need to walk it out. We need to trust him and not revert back to that mindset that says this isn't possible. If Jesus said do it, it is possible, because with God, all things are possible. So if he said do it, don't lean on your own understanding. Don't lean on your own understanding, but instead trust God and walk this thing out, man, and watch what he does. So thank you for tuning into My Moment. The next episode, we're going to look at, why did he doubt? Same thing with us. Why do we doubt? So I want to thank you for tuning in, man. Grace and peace. This is your moment.